This video is sponsored by PTCGLstore.com, a great place for you to buy Pokemon TCG code cards. Please remember to use my code KNIGHT22 at checkout so that you can get a 5% discount. Before going into the video, please take a second to click that like button. Let's set a goal of leaving at least 200 likes to this video. And we're on the road to getting 9,000 subscribers to this channel, so please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for all of your support, and I hope you guys are enjoying the content I put out in this channel. With that said, let's get into the video. In today's video, I'll be showcasing Butterfree from the Scarlet and Violet 151 expansion set. Butterfree is a stage 2 Pokemon with 130 HP. It has 2 attacks. The first one is Whirlwind. For 1 grass energy, it deals 60 damage, and it also forces your opponent to switch out their active Pokemon to their bench. But its second attack is what I'll be focusing on in this build. For 2 colorless energy, Bye Bye Flight deals no damage. However, you choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and have them shuffle it and everything attached onto it back to their deck. And if you do this, you also shuffle this Butterfree back to your own deck. Butterfree's attack, however, will do nothing if your opponent has no benched Pokemon, so I've added this Staraptor with a similar attack as Butterfree. It has the attack Strong Breeze. For 3 colorless energy, you can shuffle your opponent's active Pokemon back to their deck. Keeping your target in their bench so that you can use Butterfree's attack can be a challenge, which is why I also added this Venusaur with the Loopy Lasso ability. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin, and if it's heads, you can switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon into their active spot. This is basically a constant boss's orders. And finally, Archeops can help energize our attacks. So my whole strategy for this build is to just disrupt my opponent's setup and ultimately prevent them from attacking. This deck is in no way competitive, so I won't spend too much time on it, but I wanted to try it out with the Orbital engine. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below, and now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Butterfree. Alright, on to our first match. My opponent wins the coin flip, and they have decided to go first. Looks like we're going against a Mew VMAX build. We have a bunch of Luxrays in our hand, and thanks to its explosiveness ability, we can start with it in the active spot, just like you would a basic Pokemon. But I prefer to have an energy, so I think I will take a mulligan. You can choose to mulligan this hand. As long as you don't have a basic Pokemon, you can choose to mulligan however many times you want. And this is actually a perfect hand, so I will keep it. Luxray to go into the active spot, basic energy to attach to it so that we can use its attack. And we can set up Blipbug using Mesagoza, or even taking a chance with Iono to reshuffle our hand back to the deck and draw 6 cards. My opponent will start with the Meloetta in their active spot. They will find a Genesect V on their prizes with Hisuian Heavy Ball. Fusion Strike system ability is really strong, helping to draw as many cards on their hand as they do Pokemon, Fusion Strike Pokemon they have in play. They're gonna find their Mew, and they're gonna switching card it to the active spot. Alright. So we have a game plan. We can use our Mesagoza to find our Blipbug and maybe use Iono, get another Nest Ball or something. But I'm thinking of setting up at least 2 Blipbugs for our initial setup, because Mew VMAX builds are primarily very aggressive, and they can just boss our Blipbug and prevent us from setting up. So if we have 2 Blipbugs, even if they target one, we'll have another one alive and hope to evolve it. We got a Nest Ball from our top deck. Very nice. So we got 2 Blipbugs in our deck. Very nice. And attach an energy to Luxray. Put our Mesagoza in play, and I'm going to Iono. Okay, we have an Ultra Ball, but I don't want to sacrifice any of these other cards. Let me try Mesagoza first. Maybe we'll get heads. Get another Blipbug. Alright, cool. So this is a pretty good initial setup for us. And what we're going to do is use our Seeking Fang attack. Get the main components we need for an Orbital on our next turn. So we're going to deal 50 damage to their Mew V. We're going to get Raihan and Rare Candy. So we have the means to evolve into an Orbital next turn. And I'm hoping that my opponent will knock out my Luxray here. That will discard the basic energy so we can use Raihan. And having reversal energy in our hand is perfect, actually. because once they knock out our Luxray, that's going to vacant one space on our bench, and we should be able to set up at least 4 Pokemon, stage 2 Pokemon, going into our next turn. And my my opponent also has Ice Cube as their Pokemon to bench snipe, but it really depends on how many Fusion Strike energies they have in play. But right now they haven't played anything. Now that they have a full bench, all of their Genesect Vs can continue to draw cards until they have 6 in their hand. But looks like my opponent will just attack here, dealing 250 damage to my Luxray, knocking it out. Okay, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is just promote one of my Blipbugs in the active, and we have double turbo energy to power up a Butterfree. Perfect. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to use Raihan, accelerate 1 energy, and I think I'll just get an Orbital. Can use Rare Candy to evolve. And since we are behind on prizes already, we can use Reversal Energy. It will take effect. It counts as 3 energies of any type. And what I could do is take another chance with Mesagoza, maybe get a Dottler. Perfect. Okay. And I'm just going to slowly evolve my Blipbug into an Orbital. The point of this is because if you use your Butterfree, you will shuffle it back to the deck, and you'll need to replace it by setting it up with Orbital. So you constantly want Orbital in this build set up, so you can reset up your Butterfree once you shuffle it back to the deck. So with this Orbital, I'm just going to get Venusaur. We only have 1 copy. I got 2 Butterfrees and Gallade. Archeops is an option because you do need double turbo energy, but if you can only draw into it, that would be best. And Gallade could actually do that too, because we can just draw into it. And my opponent's going to use Escape Rope. Okay. This is actually a hard choice because I could sacrifice my Gallade, but I feel like I need it. I have Iono, I can draw into more cards. But since they're using Escape Rope, I can preserve my Orbital. I was hoping for it to get knocked out anyways. So I think I will just sacrifice my Dottler. Since I have Orbital all charged up anyways, once I start using my Butterfree, I'll have Orbital that's all set up and just use its attack to set up more Butterfrees. So we can sacrifice this Dottler for sure. So my opponent will decide to attack with Ice Cube, maybe. So they're using Alessa Sparkle to accelerate those Fusion Strike energies. But I don't think they're dealing enough damage unless they have another Fusion Strike energy in their hand, attach it. They can actually bench snipe our Orbital and knock it out. Okay, my opponent's going for the Mesagoza. They failed that. Okay. Whoa, okay. They will retreat, discarding that Fusion Strike energy back to Mew VMAX. And they're just being aggressive with this attack, I guess, or their strategy. They just wanted to switch out their Mew VMAX because it copied Genesect V's attack, which doesn't allow it to attack the next turn. So if you switch it out of the active spot and back again, that actually removes that restriction, so they can attack again with this Mew VMAX. Okay, they will be successful with that Cram-O-Matic. They can get any 1 card from their deck. There's the Fusion Strike energy, and they're just gonna attack and knock out our Dottler. Okay, they deal 120 damage. I am guessing maybe it's Ice Cube's attack, I don't know. But we're just gonna put our Butterfree in the active spot. But before anything, I'm gonna use Loopy Lasso. Come on, Loopy Lasso. Excellent. So we're just gonna get this Genesect V. It's gonna induce sleep and poison onto it. The special conditions, I'm going to Iono. Now our Butterfree can just shuffle that Mew VMAX back to their deck. And that'll be the end of that story. While their Genesect V will be trapped in the active spot. So I'm going to use Bye-Bye Flights. And bye-bye Mew VMAX. There it is. We will also shuffle our Butterfree back to the deck. So now that leaves us a question as to which Pokemon to put in the active spot. And I'll just put my Orbital in the active spot. Their Genesect V stays asleep. Excellent. And it also receives 10 poison damage. So the sleep prevents your opponent from retreating. Manually retreating their Genesect V. They will need some type of item card to get it out of the active spot. Otherwise, it will get stuck there. And here comes another Mew. So I guess one thing that I could add here is free retreats. We could end up discarding a lot of our energies if none of our Pokemon have free retreats. So this is a little bit... I don't know. What do you guys think? Put in the comments below. It will get a little bit tight though with our setup because we need at least one Venusaur, at least 2 Butterfrees, some type of search engine like Gallade and Orbital in play. But there is... I guess I could add that big air balloon to one of my Pokemon. Yeah, okay. I didn't add one in this deck, but that could be an option. It's a little tight as it is already, but yeah. So far, we are looking good. We will need to set up our Butterfree again, though. But since they've used up their V-Star power ability, they can't use it anymore to find any card from their deck. So they are just relying on their draw engine. They will put Lost City in play. So any Pokemon that is knocked out will go into the Lost Zone, never to be played again. They continue to... Okay, they lost the sleep condition now. But if they still have double turbo energy, they can power up Genesect and retreat it. We could try for another Loopy Lasso though, but gonna hard retreat my Orbital. And then I think I'm gonna target that Meloetta. Because it still hits hard. But we'll see. I will use my Super Rod and just recover these. I will need to set up another Orbital just in case. And we got our Pidgeot EX in our deck. If I play Mesagoza though, that could help them find their Mew VMAX, but at least that's gonna prevent my opponent from trapping us and putting our Pokemon into the Lost Zone. So I'm just gonna target their Meloetta with the Bye-Bye Flights. Hopefully this Genesect V in the active will get stuck. And we're just gonna continue to disrupt them. It is fairly easy for them to set up a Mew VMAX though. They can evolve it, add double turbo energy, and they can just continue to attack. However, if this Genesect V gets stuck in the active spot, we should be fine and dandy. Okay, they're going to use Ultra Ball. Get another Mew VMAX. One trouble with this build, again, is that you have to constantly set up your Butterfree. So I couldn't afford to get my Orbital knocked out. That's why I put Gallade in the active spot. But now I have to get it out of the active spot somehow. I mean, I have Arvin. I could probably get a switch. And since we are still behind on prizes, I could use Orbital and set up more Butterfrees on our bench. So this is one way. Dude, they use Path to the Peak. That is actually going to be counterproductive for them unless they have another Stadium card in their hand. Just going to use Arven, switch out my Gallade, and grab Bravery Charm because why not? And what I'm going to do is just set up more Butterfrees. I'm going to start charging up my... Okay, just going to make sure. I think it lost sleep, right? I'm going to try and use Loopy Lasso on another Pokemon. Hopefully we can put it to sleep again. Fortunately, we failed. But we're just going to hope for the best. Hopefully my opponent can't switch out their Genesect V. Gonna go ahead and set up more of my Butterfree and an Archeops this time because I don't have any energies on my hand. Archeops can help us energize our Butterfree. Hopefully continue to use its bye-bye flight attack. And even if they knock out my Orbeetle, we have a chance to set it up again. They will attach double turbo energy to their Genesect V to retreat it, putting their Mew VMAX in the active spot. But because of Path to the Peak, they can't draw any more cards, and that I'll take it. There you go, guys. There's a scoop. Because of the disruption of Butterfree, my opponent scoops, and there you have it. The disruption. Good game. All right, on to our next match. Again, my opponent wins the coin flip, and they've decided to go first. Let's inspect our board. We have all the cards we need. I will keep this hand. We are going to start with a Luxray in the active spot. Nest Ball to find our Blipbug, and a basic energy to attach to our Luxray. Looks like we're going against a Charizard EX build. So I think this Butterfree will actually be very effective against this matchup, since setup for Charizard EX can be very cumbersome, especially it is a stage 2. Not like our Orbeetle engine, they have to start from scratch, and even if they use up all of their rare candies, we could even prevent them from evolving any of their stage 2 Pokemon, if anything, unless they have stage 1s to keep evolving their Charmander to Charmeleon and then into Charizard EX. They're also using Wingull. Okay, this looks like the basic or free Charizard EX build, but again, you don't want to underestimate these types of builds. It is still very strong. So we're gonna go ahead and set up our Blipbug at HP. Gonna use Masagoza. Nice, we got heads. Okay, could even grab an Orbeetle here. We only have one, so one is prized, so we gotta keep this hand as much as possible. I'm going to use Seeking Fangs because we are going second. That allows us to use this attack. I'm gonna go for a Raihan, and let's see, rare candy. Could go for another supporter card though, just in case. I'm gonna go for Avery. Yeah, because we have rare candy already. If my opponent manages to fill their bench somehow, Avery can help us draw 3 cards and then force my opponent to discard their benched Pokemon until they only have 3 left. They will get heads on their Mesagoza, so if they manage to evolve into a Charizard EX, they can start attacking this turn, even knock out our active Luxray. Hopefully they don't have a boss or escape rope and prevent them from knocking out our Blipbug, because with the stage 2 evolution, you can't evolve until you wait another turn after setting up their basic. So that's what makes it difficult. So having at least 2 Blipbugs is actually ideal in a lot of your matchups. So far my opponent will evolve their benched Charmander into Charmeleon, and they're just gonna attack for 10 damage against our Luxray. but we can take a knockout here. We got reversal energy, but if we end up knocking out this Charmander, this reversal energy will not take into effect at all. It will just count as one colorless energy. So, okay, cool. We're just gonna use Avery. Got another Blip Bug. We're gonna put one energy to our other Blip Bug, and I could... because if I evolve into Orbeetle now, I could use it and just set up stage 2, but it will not be worth it. So I'll just take a knockout. That's fine. Get an Iono. And what I could do is hopefully find a double turbo energy. And that's going to help us to at least set up 3 stage 2 Pokemon. But that's one Charizard EX that we have to worry about, because now we took out one of their Charmanders. We'll get one prize. We got Mesagoza. One Charmander less means one Charizard EX less in play. They will manage to get an Ultra Ball so they can evolve into a Charizard EX. And they can accelerate up to 3 fire energies, but since they don't have any other Pokemon, they're gonna probably put it on that Wingull, which is a waste of an ability, if you ask me. That's why I really like my Orbeetle Charizard EX build, because you can set up the other Charizard, multiply your fire energies, and you can attack for just a single energy. They will fill their Mesagoza, and they only have one card left in their hand. And it's a Professor's Research, okay? Wouldn't you know it? Another Charmander going into their bench. And Pelipper to get one card from their deck or one from their discard pile. Supporter card. Yeah, Pelipper. I think Pelipper is good, but because the scoop up net rotated out, it's a little bit less desirable because it just gets stuck in your bench. Although it is the same as Luminion V, and it only gives up one prize. I guess it could work. But that's 2 cards instead of a basic Pokemon in your deck. Because you have to evolve Wingull into a Pelipper. And they will attack for 210 damage against our Luxray, knocking it out. That will get them their first prize. I will set up my Orbeetle here. But we also have Raihan to use, so I can actually get a double turbo energy. Because we have the same prizes, this reversal energy will have no effect. So double turbo energy will be our option here. And that will allow us to set up 4 stage 2 Pokemon on our bench. So we're going to use Evomancy. Got 1 Venusaur available to us, 2 Butterfrees for sure, and 1 Staraptor. So if we can't get this active out of there, we can just use Staraptor to shuffle it back to the deck. And I did a little bit of change up here. I removed Gallade and just stuck with Pidgeot EX because I had to remove a few cards so that I can put my Staraptor in here, because I realized that once all of your opponent's bench Pokemon are gone, you can't really shuffle anything else. So Staraptor fills in that gap. Even if your opponent has 1 Pokemon left, Staraptor will just shuffle your opponent's active to their deck. And if they run out of Pokemon, you win the game. So with that, my opponent will take another knockout against our Orbeetle. So I'm going to put my Staraptor. Since we are behind on prices, we can use Reversal Energy to power up Staraptor. That will count as 3 energies. And then we can shuffle this Charizard EX back to their deck. But The thing is, if they have Charizard EX, they can evolve the other one and just knock out our Staraptor. But we have Escape Robe available to us. What you could do is also use Iono. Maybe that will shuffle their hand and they won't have any access to another Charizard EX. So let's see. They have a chance with Mesagoza though. We got heads. I will try and set up. Oh, that's right. Our other Orbital is prized. So I will use this Super Rod and I'll just recover these 3. Can try for another evolution next turn. We did use that up though. So I'm gonna use Strong Breeze here to shuffle their Charizard EX in the active back to their deck. Now they'll have to start from scratch. Depends on what cards they have on their hand. They might have difficulty setting up another Charizard line. But for the meantime, if my opponent can't find anything to evolve their active Charmeleon, we can just continue to shuffle it back to the deck with Staraptor. Staraptor is actually pretty strong with that Strong Breeze attack because there's no drawback. You just you just continue to shuffle their opponent's cards or their active Pokemon back to their deck. Not like Butterfree where you have to shuffle it back to the deck along with one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. No, Staraptor just continues to shuffle your opponent's active back to the deck. So with that Ultra Ball, they will grab another Charizard EX with a Torkoal to go onto the bench. And with Infernal Rain, they can accelerate fire energies from their deck. 3 fire energies and accelerate them to their Pokemon in any way they like. So with the Charizard EX fully powered up, they can knock out my Staraptor. And yeah, this is okay. What I could do is get Arvin. But then I can't really. Let me Loopy Lasso first. We need to survive here. Dude, we got heads. That is awesome. Let's get Pelipper because it's weak and it will fall asleep and get poisoned. So at least that sleep will keep it from retreating. Go for a Mesagoza. We got heads. Okay, I could get an Orbital this time. And then I could use Arvin to switch. Let's see. I gotta switch. Alright. Gotta switch. And then I have one Luminous Energy to use. So I can set up maybe a Pidgeot EX. And then at least with that I can find any card from the deck. They will wake up. Their Pelipper wakes up. Now it can retreat. So what I could do, but I need at least... Well, I have one chance with Loopy Lasso. I just need to keep this Charizard EX in their bench. And then shuffle it back with Butterfree. So we have 2 Butterfrees. I can shuffle back their Torkoal as well. Because having 3 energies onto it, it has a lot of firepower. And since we are weak against fire, they can actually knock out my Butterfree. And my opponent actually decides to attack with their Pelipper. That is crazy. Let's go ahead and try our chances with this Loopy Lasso. Excellent. I will grab this Charmander in the active spot. Its sleep condition could be removed though once it evolves. So at least we have our Butterfree to use its bye-bye flight and take care of that Charizard for the meantime. And with this Pidgeot EX, I'm just gonna grab another double turbo energy for our next Butterfree or even our Orbital. So bye-bye flight to their Charizard EX back to the deck. We also shuffle our Butterfree back to our deck. And my opponent's Charmander stays asleep. Very nice. And with Pidgeot EX in the active spot, we can easily retreat with it for free. And the nice thing about the price exchange right now is that even if they evolve into a Charizard EX, it's only dealing 210 damage, so we will survive an attack from a Charizard EX. They will evolve into a Charmeleon though, removing that sleep so they can now retreat it. However, it has 2 retreat costs. So unless they have any item cards to retreat it, it will get stuck in the active. So for now, the next dangerous Pokemon that we have to face off is that Torkoal. So I will just power up this Butterfree, retreat, and then we're just going to bye-bye flight that Torkoal. But I could just Loopy Lasso here. Maybe get that Charmander stuck in the active, but we failed. So I think I'm going to go with that. So I was thinking of just getting rid of this Charmeleon, because it could evolve into another Charmander or Charizard EX, but we're going to go against that Torkoal. And again, we're going to pivot into our Pidgeot EX with the free retreat. We can retreat into our Orbital, but we don't have any energies. That's the other thing. But we can just find it with our quick search ability using Pidgeot EX. So for now, we are just going to continue to shuffle away my opponent's cards. They will evolve into a Charizard with 1 energy. So now we know all the cards in their hand. And the unfortunate thing is we have no way to shuffle back any of their Pokemon. We failed that Loopy last, so I think I'll just continue to attack. Because I can attack with Pidgeot EX. I could get a double turbo energy. And they don't have enough firepower to knock out my Pidgeot EX. I can deal 100 damage or so to this Charizard in the active spot. And yeah, 100 damage minus, because it's minus 20. And I can even discard the Stadium to prevent my opponent from evolving, finding any cards from their deck to evolve into another Charizard. They did find a Level Ball though to set up another, okay, Charmeleon, okay. So they will remain cardless in their hand. They're just top decking at this point. No energies to attack with this Charizard in the active spot, so we will get a knockout here. But first, we're going to quick search. Could set up my Orbital lineup. I don't have any more multi-card, multi-energy cards, so I will just get a knockout against this Charizard in the active spot. And it looks like we're doing really good after disrupting my opponent's board, shuffling back all of their main attackers. And now my opponent loses all of their cards from their hand. They are pretty much, yeah, helpless at this point unless they draw into some type of a supporter card to draw them a lot of cards. 90 damage from this Pelipper is not gonna make any big difference. We will just knock it out with this Pidgeot EX, but that's Loopy Lasso. Excellent. I'm gonna go for that Charmeleon because that is the most dangerous. And we're just gonna knock it out slowly but surely. We're just gonna knock out all of my opponent's Pokemon at this point. And there you have it, guys. The so one win condition is basically to just shuffle all of your opponent's Pokemon back to the deck until they have no more. But that's pretty much close to impossible to doing, because the more they draw, of course, they can just continue to reset up their basics and evolve or whatever. But with this setup, this actually worked out pretty well, using up all of our resources to use Butterfree, disrupt my opponent's setup. All of their Charizard EX goes back to the deck, and now Pidgeot EX is just finishing off all of their basic or their weaker Pokemon, hitting for just 100 damage each. And that's gonna be game, guys. Butterfree did its job along with Staraptor. Pidgeot EX knocking out all of their Pokemon, getting us the win. And there you have it, guys. Butterfree Staraptor combo wins the day against this Charizard EX. Wow, excellent job, good game. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to smash the like button for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.